And with your permission, I'm going to share my screen. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hi there.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Everybody is coming in at once, so I'm just allowing for everyone to get situated. Alrighty, one request that I have is that we turn off our microphones as we join the space to prevent. And I guess we're going to officially get started. With us, we have Brian Cox. He's an amazing project manager with Tyler, Colorado. Brian will be monitoring the chat. So if you have any questions or concerns during this session, just make sure that you pop those into the chat, and then Brian will be monitoring that for us. Alternatively, you could just raise your digital hand and we will call on you when the time is appropriate. So again, this is intended to be just a conversation. Feel free to raise your hand and interact. And I think we're at 24 people, so we're just gonna go ahead and get started. Again, we do these sessions every other week. So if you have attended these sessions in the past, and this is content that you have covered, we totally understand if you have to drop. But if you have questions that are specific, new questions, just make sure you put those in the chat so that we incorporate that in the training as we go along. We do have a few items of housekeeping. Again, if you are a person that asks a lot of questions, just make sure that you put those in the chat so that we can make space and take space and be mindful of everybody in the conversation. Additionally, we have the cms.colorado.gov website. All of the platform releases are going to be there. So we just released some fixes last week. If you're curious to see what those look like, those are going to be available on cms.colorado.gov. And then, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to make this available. I'm going to have this recording added to our CMS website for future reference. Okay. We do have a statement about paragraphs and rows and cards. For those of you who are not utilizing a screen reader, I'm going to read the statement for you very quickly so that we could continue through our training. But what we wanted to say is that the Tyler, Colorado CMS platform continues to support the content management tools from paragraphs, which are the rows and cards. And while the rows and cards functionality is no longer part of Drupal core, rows and cards remains supported by and used throughout the Drupal community as a module. As such, Tyler, Colorado is committed to continuing to support this tool on our CMS platform, and we intend to support its availability alongside layouts, which, as part of Drupal core, is the preferred and recommended tool. We continue to encourage content managers to explore layouts and leverage layout features when developing new content or redesigning existing pages. The Layout Builder block heading module enhances site accessibility, and it lifts design constraints and empowers site builders and content creators by allowing for the customization of both the heading levels and the heading styles when block types are configured and when block instances are placed via the layout builder. The Tyler CMS team will inform customers of any proposed changes in the rows and cards availability on the CMS platform with sufficient advance notice to enable those customers with content on rows and cards to adopt the use of layouts as the recommended tool for the future. And then for training and support, just a reminder that I am available to do a one-on-one session with you and your organization if need be. I'm going to make the link to my availability ready for you to access as part of this chat. On the chat, I'll drop that for you. So again, please reach out to partner support to request a session. Online training and written documentations are going to be in development based on the feedback from these initial sessions. And we recognize that the experience with layouts has been challenging since the launch of the Drupal 10. And as a new addition to Drupal core, it is not as mature as rows and cards, and the issues and blockers the users are encountering have made it difficult to learn and adopt the new content type. Now, we do appreciate your patience as we work to change this experience and make layouts an efficient pillar of the CMS platform. We currently have a dedicated initiative for identifying and resolving the layout issues. These issues include tracking and addressing the issues that the users are reporting, and it also includes our own resources in assessing the necessary changes to layouts. This is a priority for Tyler, Colorado. We will provide updates as we release changes, and we'll include information about layout improvements in these training sessions. So I know that was a lot of reading at just talking at you guys, but I just think it's still important for us to communicate this to new attendees to this meeting and to people who have attended these meetings in the past. This is what we hope to accomplish today. This is our loose agenda. So if you have any items that you want to see in addition to what we have here, make sure that you add those comments into our chat, and we'll make sure that we demo whatever it is that you're wanting to see. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to walk through. So with your permission, I'm going to switch over to our CMS platform real quick. All righty. So for this example, I'm going to go ahead and log out. And let me know if you can see my screen, okay? Can I get a thumbs up? Thank you, Nuggle. I think we're good. All righty. So when you are accessing your website or trying to log on to one of the websites, what you want to do is just make sure that you enter the URL that has been provided. And then at the end, you want to do /user, and this will take you to your login screen. Now, if you're an individual that has multiple websites, just make sure that you just do this for each one of them because they are multi-sites. You don't have access to all of your websites from one login. So you will go to your URL, and at the end of your URL, you will type in /user, and this will take you to the screen for your login. Now, just be mindful that if you guys are leveraging Google as an enterprise, you can leverage the Google single sign-on. However, some of our organizations do not utilize Google single sign-on. They're utilizing a combination of username and password. If you do not have an account, you will go to the very bottom. There is a button here for you to create your account. At that point, the user administrator for your website will be able to activate your account first and then assign the roles. Okay, so if you have any questions about this, please reach out to partner support, but the authentication onto the page remains the same. For this example, I'm going to use my Google single sign-on so that you can see how this works. And this should redirect to the back end. So this is the visual indicator up here. You have the primary navigation menu. This is a visual indicator that you are authenticated on your website. Now, from here, you're going to have the ability to make edits to your account. If you have a name change or anything like that, this is where you will leverage that. This is the same screen that you will see if you are a user administrator and you are activating an account and then assigning user role to that account. Okay, again, this is the least frequented of all of the tabs because our project teams tend to remain the same. But if you do happen to have some turnaround in your organization, you will visit the people module. So you want to tap, click, or select the people module, and this is where you will monitor all of your users, make sure the accounts are having the adequate permissions and that type of thing. So far, so good. All right, so the first thing that we wanted to do was to just look at the primary navigation. On this primary navigation, you will see that we no longer have the drop, the Acquia logo that would allow us to go back to the home page or log in. This is the new display for Drupal 10's primary menu. Now, some things are the same. When you click on your avatar of sorts, you will have these functions based on your permissions. The shortcuts is only for the administrators. We do have a ticket to see if this could be extended to the other user types, but at the moment, just this is on my profile because I am an admin for the platform. And then you have the manage menu that will present the modules that are available to you based on your user roles. Again, if you are a user administrator, you will see the people module. Now, the bulk of the things that we're going to talk about today are going to be in the content module. But just as a reminder, you do have those breadcrumbs. In any instance that you need to go back to your home page, you could just click on home and it will take you from the back end into the home page with the user display right here. Still at the top, you will have the primary menu because you're an authenticated user. All right, so the first thing that we wanted to do was to click, tap, or select on the content module because we want to have a look at the media library. The media library is where all of your content, your media, your blocks, and your files are located. So if you tap, click, or select the media, the content module, you will be presented with the media library. Now, one of the most frequent things that we do is to add documents to our website. So I'm going to cover that really quickly because there have been some questions in partner support about how to upload documents to the website. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to address that. On the media library, you have all of these folders. If you click on the media folder within the media library in the content module, you will have a list of all of the content that has already been uploaded in the way of images and documents. This is the table that you could sort. This is a table with different headers. If you hover over the header and you see it highlighted, this is something that you could sort. By default, the sort is going to be the most recently updated. However, you could just sort this table however you need to. Additionally, you can narrow down the search by changing the parameters at the top of your media library media section. So for instance, if you have leveraged any type of related tags, say that you have a lot of different content and you're using related tags, you could just utilize those here to narrow your search, but you could also narrow down by the type of media. So in this particular case, if I wanted to look at the documents, I can apply this filter and it will only show me documents. And this will make your search a little bit, your results a little bit smaller so that you could then further sort. Okay. Also in the partner support, we had a question about how to add the media. So very quickly, I'm just going to show you how this is done because there was a question about alternative text. So when you are adding an item, you could select the document, you could select a video, or you could select the image. Since the question was specific to the alternative text, I'm going to provide an example here. So I'm going to see if there is a picture that we could use. Let us try organizational chart. At this point, you will see that the image is displayed in a little thumbnail towards the left, but there is a required field. So if I wanted to say image of organizational chart, and that is not a good way of doing an alternative text. I know Barry's going to get me later because I'm doing a bad alternative text. But at any rate, let's just add that as an example, understanding that this is not the best way of adding an alternative text. These are the two required fields. So in order for you to save this image, you have to insert an alternative text. So we're making it really hard for you to be out of compliance by not having the alternative text. So just make sure that you have a look at that. The Office of Information Technology, they are brilliant. They are subject matter experts for anything that has to do with accessibility. If you are needing some resources on how to or what best practices are for alternative text, just reach out and I can share some information with you because they're just brilliant. One thing that I wanted to point out is that when you are inserting the images, this is the opportunity for you to apply the different crops. If you wanted to utilize this image in a hero row, which is like a Jumbotron, you want to make sure you apply those here. And you would do that by selecting hero crop and you hover over the image and you could highlight the portion of the image to be displayed. We also have a feature crop. You would then hover over and apply the boundaries where you want the areas that you want the image to be displayed. Now, we talked about related tags. This is an opportunity for you to enter any type of related tags. If this were a document and this were related to agendas, you could just enter agendas, you can enter minutes, you can enter whatever related tags are important to you, and you can leverage these later on. The last thing to do would be to save, but we're not going to save this item because it is not something that we want to add to our website. But just for clarity, this is where you will add the alternative text, These are questions that are coming from partner support. So this is where you add alternative text on your images. I see a hand up. Brian, did you see the hand up?
Yeah, it looks like you're currently on mute, if you don't mind unmuting.
Sorry, yeah, I missed this one. Hi there. Thank you for that. A quick question, a couple of questions actually. I do not seem to see the appearance tab on my, content. And second question, how it's something that disappeared. We were able to actually create a border in the source field before, and that border no longer works. How can we do that on an image?
On the
Can we
image.
do borders? Can we do borders on an image? Yeah.
Okay, that I will have to look into real quick. But definitely let me have a look at that. Is it Lawrence?
Yeah.
Okay, Brian, do you mind taking a note so that I can circle back on this feature and then respond to Lawrence?
Thank you. And I will have to
Absolutely.
really apologize. So
No.
if you want to email me on that, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Now, so the last question first was the one about the applying the border. Those were features from our CK Editor 4 that we had in Drupal. I have to investigate if that is something that is possible in this Drupal with the CK Editor 5, okay? And speaking about the appearance, I am an administrator, so that's why I have additional modules that may not be present in your primary menu. It's all based on the user roles that have been assigned to you. Does that answer your question, Lawrence?
Yeah, I'm just looking that Daniel has the same issue. I believe I am also an administrator, and I still do not see the appearance and some extend and cache flush.
Yes,
So,
you may be a content
yeah.
administrator, but I am a different type of administrator.
Okay, got you. Thank you.
I mean, it doesn't give me any superpowers. It's just I have a different user role for the platform as a whole. And again, I'm gonna make sure that you have a link to my availability in the event that you wanted to do a deeper dive into all these questions, okay? Awesome. Alrighty, so this is how you will add an image to the media library. Again, the alternative text is a required field. So again, if you need guidelines and best practices for how to attach this to the item itself, do let us know. We're happy to provide that to you. If you have an opportunity, go to the Office of Information Technology's website is oit.colorado.gov. They're subject matter experts and they have a lot of beautiful resources on how to do this. But again, we're going to click, tap or select onto the content module where we have the media library. We have addressed the questions that came about how to upload images to the website, and we addressed the alternative text questions. The second thing we want to do is talk about how the rows and cards are still present in your basic page. And to do that, we're going to create a content type. To create a content type, you will tap, click, or select on the content module. Then you would click on the content button, add content. Okay, one thing before we create the content, if you're editing a page that is already existing, this is again a table. It has pagination at the bottom, and it will have all of the different content types that have been created, the authors, the status, the update. You can edit content from the back end. You would do that by selecting the item. For instance, this page is called buttons. If I wanted to make an edit, I could carrot down here, and these are my 3 options for this content type. Alternatively, I could click on the button itself, the link itself, and it would take me there. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is just create a basic page, and then we're going to look at the CK editor. And then we're going to create a layout, and then we're going to circle back to editing from the web. So I'm going to click, tap, or select, add content. And then you're going to have a menu of options. These are all of the different content types that are available to you on the CMS. For the example, we're going to grab a basic page. On this basic page, the only required field is the title. So let's do oh, I got my cap locks on. This is the only required field. So that you know, there is a correlation between the data that is inputted in the title field and the URL. If you do not want for the system to generate automatically a URL, you will need to go to the right-hand side in this panel, and where it says URL alias, you want to deselect this so that you have this open field where you can populate whatever you desire the URL to be. However, if I do not go in this direction and I keep it selected, it will automatically populate the content from the title field and it will change the node into the URL. For the example, I'm going to go to the bottom. I'm going to make this page published. And you will see how the URL has just now changed. Okay, so that is the correlation between the title and the URL. Now, let's go ahead and add some sample text. This is where you could just leverage all of the body. This is if you don't want to leverage rows and cards, you could just start to build your page from here. If you want to just do something special, you could just use the source and you could just start to code in there. Or you could just utilize the features that are available here to change the appearance. One of the things that I wanted to share that we just rolled out last week is the styling of links into buttons. And I hope you guys are excited about this, as excited as we are, because buttons were one of the features that did not carry over, and our development team is amazing. They made this available to us. So I know you guys have been in this training session a bunch of times, but if you will allow me, I want to demonstrate how to do the buttons. So I'm going to add a piece of text. This is going to be my anchor text, and I'm going to apply the link on it. For this particular page, I want to search a piece of content that is within my database. That content is going to be buttons. If you notice, it's pulling the node from the media library. Does this make sense to y'all? We are linking to a piece of content that we have already created that is housed in our media library, and this is the node for it. When I search down here, you will see that it will tell me what the content title is. Thank you, Sonia. Additionally, we have the advanced feature in which you could leverage these here. Additionally, you can open this in another tab. So with the target being another window, this is where you will execute. These are all toggles. And I want to save this. Now, I have a link that has already been applied to some anchor text. Now the exciting part, or at least the part that I'm very excited about, is that the styles are now available in which I can make this link into a button. And I know that this is something that people have been waiting for, but these are the different styles that we have available. This is a toggle. If you select the default, it will be your default button. However, if I hover and I wanted to change away from here, I could just deselect that one and then find, let us do a red button. The red button is the label danger. And if I look in the source, you will see that there is my red button. Now, if I wanted to make this particular button have additional styles, I could make it rounded. So I could just select for it to have that additional feature. I'm going to save so you can see how this is displaying. And there is my button. And I know that it's not everybody is as excited as I am. Oh, thank you, Sonia. Yes, no go. You have a question?
I was just trying to clap and I raised my hand instead.
Well, I appreciate it. We have been working very hard. I did create a piece of just a basic page to demonstrate what these will look like. These are the colors that we had available before. And again, you notice that we have some additional styling options that are available. This is what the buttons looked at. And I apologize, I'm clicking away to demo.colorado.gov, but this is the experience that we had before with the CK Editor 4. And I am just so proud to be working with this team because look at these beautiful buttons. These are the same experience we had before. Now, I know that we could spend hours playing with these buttons. What I ask is that you explore the feature and you let me know what you think. Feedback is amazing. I mean, we cannot fix what we don't know, it's broken. So again, if you want to have a meeting in which we do a deep dive, again, partnersupport.www.colorado.gov is the way to get a hold of me and my team. So just make sure you just let us know the good, the bad, the ugly, as always, and we will address those items. So I am sorry that I'm very excited about this, but the buttons. Thank you, Alfredo. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Amanda. We have buttons. Things are wonderful. Alrighty. Rows and cards are still here. The rows, you still have the ability to select the same types of rows that we had in Drupal 9, and you still have the ability to format these. So just for the example, I'm just going to get an equal column row, and onto this row, I can apply different formats. Where's the color that Tammy doesn't like? Plum. And you could make the row wider, full screen. You can apply a border. This is the same experience that we had in Drupal 9. Now that I have the formats that I want onto my row, I'm going to go ahead and select one of the many different cards that we have. These are no code solutions. You don't have to do any coding at all. So for instance, if I wanted to add a map, and this is our actual address if you ever want to come and visit. Yep, that's the map card right there. And if I wanted to do a media, I could pull an image from the media library. I'm just going to click on here. This is all the same experience that we have had. New Orleans, let's try that one. We're going to indicate to use that one. And we're going to scroll to the bottom and we are going to save. However, if you wanted to see a preview, that option is still there. It carried over. This is the same experience. We have a formatted row with a map card and with a media card. This is a sample row title. This is your open in a new target. This is powered by Google Maps. Here is the body, and this is the button that we included in the body that is pointing to a node within our website. Oh, I am in preview. Let me go back to my website and save. And then I could test the link. And that will take me to the buttons page. Are we good so far? Awesome.
I do have a couple of questions, Cecilia, if you want to go ahead and take some questions.
Absolutely.
First, just a question from Sonia. So are we no longer going away from rows and cards then?
Oh, Sonia, we had a statement earlier. It's the same statement that we address, and it's nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. So the commitment to having it is here. Let me, with your permission, I'm going to switch away from this screen to another one. We did discuss that. It's not that we're not going away with it, but at the moment we are committed to keeping that experience for our community of users as we continue to develop the layout, content type, in a simultaneous way. So we're continuing to blossom and develop the layouts, but we understand. So nothing has changed since we last spoke. Dave, if you want to speak to that, but we don't have a timeline, nothing has changed. The experience is still the same. We're committed to making sure that you're empowered to use these tools to, display content to Coloradans. But again, there is no timeline. Nothing has changed so far. Does that answer your question? All right, Sonia, I have to sidebar with you later on. We fixed your grant page. Not we, Alfredo. Alrighty, so we talked about basic pages. We talked about the buttons. What I want for you to do is just explore that styles. It's on your WYSIWYG editor. Is the very first of the features on that. What you see is what you get type of editor for CK Editor 5. It is working. Just play with it. Just make sure that if you have any questions or anything that is kind of confusing, reach out to partner support. We're going to work through this together. Okay. Now, I want to make sure that we know how to add a layout. The layout is a content type that is new to us. Layouts have been out there for a long time, but we just introduced layouts with the Drupal 10 upgrade. So to access your layouts, you want to click, tap, or select on the content module. Then you want to be in the media library. And from here, you want to make sure you are in the content tab. This one happens to be the default tab. When you are here, you can, again, narrow down your search. If you're editing content that has already been published, you could filter your search by these different content types. You will notice that your content type layouts is now added to your table at the bottom. Now, if I wanted to add a layout, I'm going to click, tap, or select on the Add Content button. And from here, it's an alphabetical sort. I'm going to go all the way down to Layouts. When I am here, whoops, taking a little bit longer. We're going to say Sample Layout. And today is 13 March 24, and that's the only required field. So again, this is carrying over. It's very similar to what we did with landing pages, with basic pages. It is carrying over. The URL will generate from the title field. Now, if you, again, just to show you, experience is the same. Now, there's one thing that I really want to point out is that your default moderation status, I think you can see it here at the bottom, is published. That is the one consideration that I want for you to have. If your layout content type is not ready for prime time, make sure you deselect the publish option. Okay, this is the one significant difference between our previous content types and this one. So make sure you do not publish the page. It has to be deselected. Again, these are all of the features. Let's just add a button here. I'm going to link this to another node. That is the node for the platform releases. I can leverage these fields and I can have it open in a new window. Now I'm going to highlight this to apply the button styling. This time I am going to do success, and then I'm going to select rounded. And this time, because we want to go crazy, I want to make it large. So I'm applying 3 different styles to this one link. And then I'm going to scroll to the bottom and I'm going to hit save. You will notice that the pink background is a visual indicator that the moderation state for this content type is not published. This is in a draft state. I want to go ahead and further develop this page or further build this page. And to do so, I am going to select the 4th of these tabs on this ribbon where it allows me to look at my layout builder. Okay, so once I am here in layout, you will notice that this display is different. You have your save features at the top as opposed to at the bottom of the page. You will also notice that there are these sections with this little dashed line. Here you will notice that the content that we had in the body is carrying as configuration section 1. So this is your first section, which you already had in your body. Very similar to the experience of having rows and cards on a basic page and leveraging the body. So it is the same experience. You can configure those from here as well. We do have a little section, a little block that we added. You could delete these if they're no longer important, or you can add blocks, that type of thing. Now, this here, if you wanted to make an edit, you would notice that when I hover over the space for this block, I get a little pencil icon. You will click, tap, or select that, and then you could configure this block further. Okay. Now, let us say that I am wanting to add a new section. At the bottom of the corrugated or the perforated line, you will notice that we have these options. If I wanted to add a new section, I could just select this one here, and it will give me the different options for my particular section. And we want to just make that kind of like, how was it when we selected a specific row, and we can apply different formats to the row. This is where you would do this in the layout builder for the sections and for the blocks. So if I wanted to select a 2-column, it's similar to getting that 2 rows and then populating cards. However, here, instead of having 1/2 and 1/2, it's just displayed in percentages. But it is the same concept of distribution of content in the row. I hope that makes sense. So if here I wanted to have 1/3 and 2/3, I am just going to display the percentages that would accompany that. Okay, now the administrative label is available to be shown. If I wanted to wrap that, let's do an H2. Pardon me. Excuse me. So what this is doing is that it is displaying the title to the end user. And what I want to do is make sure that I'm wrapping this in H2 because I know that the title of my page is an H1, right? So I'm going to make this one an H2. And if I wanted to sort of kind of like style this particular title, I could just change it to right, left, or centered. And I can also change the color. For the example, I'm going to select slate, and then I'm going to go ahead and add the section. And you will see how it is already displayed here. However, these changes have not been saved. You want to make sure, if you've taken one of these sessions with me, I will say save, save, save. So again, save, save, save. You want to make sure you go to the save layout and your changes will then be available to your viewers. Again, this is the section title header 2. This is the body. And this pink background, pardon me, is a visual indicator that the moderation state is draft. If I want to further build this page, I could then go into this section that I have already formatted to have 1/3 or 33% and 2/3. And from here, I could start to reference different content types that I have already built, or I could build stuff. So for instance, if I wanted to reference a menu, let us find our main navigation. I'm so sorry. We're going to reference our main navigation in this section, and then I could then further format my menu options. So if I just wanted to, I don't know, whatever I wanted to make it more specific, you could go in here and play with these and see what will best fit your use case for displaying the menu. How many levels do you want? You could make sure that you can determine all of that. I'm just going to do one level in so it doesn't do the third level of my menu. And I want to display the title. This is an opportunity for you to hide the title or to display it. In this instance, I'm just going to leave it displayed so that you can see what we're talking about. And I am going to add the block. And this is your main navigation block with the first level only. If I wanted to add a different block here, I could go ahead and create a block, and there are these preset options that I have. If I wanted to add a simple map, that map would just populate here, and I do not want to display the title, but I'm going to have to give it a title because that is the one required field. And I'm just going to call this Tyler, Colorado. Hopefully I haven't used this 100 times already. If I wanted to add sample text and make this a button, I can also do that. Pardon me. There is my link. My advanced my advanced features are still here. I am going to go ahead and have it open in a new environment. This is the sample text. Let's go ahead and make it into a button since that is what we're so excited about. Make this rounded. And let's make this large. Oops. Oh, come on. All right, I messed this one up. Not sure what I did. But I'm gonna circle back to this. I'm gonna look at the source real quick. And what I'm going to do is just enter the address. And I gotta inspect my little button, why it had that duplicate. But here is my button and here is my simple map. Again, this is the same experience that we had with our map card with rows and cards. So it is powered by Google, and it will be visible in your mobile display, and you can add this to an event so that your participants could just, you know, have left turn, right turn instructions on how to get to the venue. So it is just like you will use Google Maps on your mobile device. Now, let us say that I wanted to move my content. The beauty of these sections and blocks, which is very different from rows and cards where we had to recreate a row and recreate a card, is that we can move these blocks from one section to another. And we could do this just by using the 4-directional arrow and dragging and dropping the content. Again, this could be done, there's no limit to the number of times that you move this content around. If you wanted to make sure that the changes are applied, you want to make sure that you save. One feature that is consistent from our Drupal 9 experience is the revisions. So every single save, every single version of this page will be retained by Drupal. We do not delete those. If you think that many changes have taken place and you want to do some cleanup because you have had the website for 5 years, you could go ahead and delete the revision, but they're automatically generated every single time you hit save. To view, again, the reason why you have the pink background is because this is still in the moderation state of draft. To make this page public, I want to make sure that I select the public at the bottom, the publish at the bottom, and I hit save. And now the display would not show the pink background. Alrighty, so far, any questions, any confusion? I know we have covered this in many ways, but I want to open it up to you guys. We have 15 minutes for a conversation.
There are a couple of outstanding questions that I have in the chat, Cecilia, if you don't mind answering those.
Yes, please.
The first, is there a plan to make it possible to use an existing rows and cards node and manually reconfigure it into a layout builder node?
There are two different structures, and I think we had covered this in previous meetings. At the moment, there is no systematic way of migrating that content over from rows and cards into layouts. I know this is not the response that maybe that user wants to hear, but the rows and cards are on the paragraph layout, and then we have the layout builder. There are two different experiences, two different ways of displaying content. I hope that answers the user's question.
Did come from Danielle, and it looks like Danielle has her hand raised. Do you want to go ahead with Danielle?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So in this case, since they are so dissimilar that they can't like be translated one to the other, would it be possible then to create a new layouts builder node and then steal the node number from the rows and cards node so that all of the navigation links and all of the other links throughout the website remain unchanged? So like if I have a page that say like, this is my how-to videos page and I recreate it in layouts builder, I don't want to then have to go through my entire website and find every hyperlink to that page and change it to the new node. So would it be possible to take my new layouts builder page, scrap my rows and cards page, and then just steal the node number and reference from that rows and cards page so that all of my navigation and all of my hyperlinks throughout my site remain unchanged? Is that something that could be done?
Well, we're very fortunate today that our lead Drupal developer is here. So If possible, Alfredo, can you provide the answer? At first blush, my answer would be no, but I'm not the lead Drupal developer. So Alfredo.
Sure. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. In that situation, I would take the clean URL instead of the node ID and make sure that your new layout page is using the same clean URL, which would just be, you know, the path that a normal person sees in their browser. And then you would probably want to either unpublish or rename your old node ID. And I believe we still have functionality to do URL forwarding in our configuration somewhere. So you could also tinker in that aspect if you wanted to. But for if it was me and you, like if you're linking and you're using node IDs, you might have to create a URL redirect from that node ID to your new page. If you're linking using the clean URLs, then I would just rename your clean URL, you know, your new page to that same URL, and then unpublish your old page, so you at least have it in your system still as an archive to view.
So, but if I'm doing the link in CK Editor, and I'm just like selecting the link from what it, like if I start typing and I select the link, is that linking through node ID or is that linking through clean URL?
I would have to look at the source, and if it's using the node ID, then we would use the forwarding path that Cecilia was just on, that URL redirect. If it's using the clean URL, then we could just rename pages. So,
but then I have to go through the step of creating a redirect, which has never been very user friendly. And it's always been glitchy and problematic. So, and maybe I just have never used it correctly. I don't know.
Well, I don't believe that the CK editor is linking to the node ID in what people see anyways. So that will probably just go to the new page that you made.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to test this out, because like if I have to recreate my pages in Layouts Builder, and then I have to go through and change my main navigation and my side navigation, and I have to go through my site, and I have to like change all of the references to that page. That's
as long as you're naming that page the same, what you want it to be named as, like the old page, everything should click through just fine. Node IDs don't get rendered in our WYSIWYG. Like a user shouldn't see that node ID. They should see the clean URL.
Okay.
But, you know, we can test it.
In my interface, yeah. Because like maybe I misunderstood, but like I always thought it was better to link directly to the node when you're creating a link else on your site, so that like if that URL changes down the line, it's still linking to that same node. Because like, you know, we frequently have to go into our websites and clean up URLs because they're not nested properly, things like that. People create custom aliases that, you know, make it hard to like do any sort of like analysis of the website, things like that. So anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on the matter. So I guess I just have to do some testing.
You can do some testing. Right now we only have one layout content type, but we will be thinking about like adding that functionality to your landing pages and your basic pages. It's just not something we wanted to roll out right away without doing our diligence of testing and having one content type just use that layout. So you may be able to just replace that page and add the layout on that same very node, so you don't have to do anything else.
That would be
ideal. That probably sounds better for you.
Well, yeah, like, because if I could take my existing rows and cards page and say, you know what, to heck with the rows and cards bit, let me just rebuild this in Layouts Builder, and I don't have to change any of the URL or any of that, like that would be the best case scenario, because then at least I could take it page by page and just, you know, rebuild it completely and like just focus on that page, and none of my navigation is going to be affected. Like that would be the best case.
That was our idea for further down the road, but not too far down the road, because we understand what you guys are up against here. But it's not something that we rolled out right away initially. So,
But it is being planned.
yes.
Okay. Okay. Cool. That's good to know.
Well, thank you, Alfredo, and thank you, Danielle. I know we're a little bit pressed for time and we want to make sure that we observe all of those comments. I invite Danielle for you to utilize the partner support to reach out after your testing to make sure that all of these elements that you are describing are taken under consideration when we have a look. So more information, the better. If you have your use cases, put them in that partner support ticket. Brian, Danielle, I think you still have your hand up. Thank you so much. Brian, is there anything else that we could address before we run out of time?
There is one question I wanted to make sure we address before the end here. It's kind of more of a creative question or how to organize content question. But from Lori Scott, when creating accordions using rows and cards, is there a way to have 2 columns with text in one column and accordions in the other column? Kind of trying to think through that through my head. I can't think of anything that would exactly maybe mimic what Lori's wanting, but maybe utilizing the reference menus as a possible way to achieve this. I mean, ways that I can think to organize content similar to accordions would be the tab ability within rows and cards, and then probably utilizing reference menus. But is there any other ways that you can think of, Cecilia, that may help Lori out?
Absolutely. You know, as a former librarian, organizing content is my jam. So if you want to make sure to have a deeper dive, because we only have the 8 minutes, my recommendation is that you schedule a meeting with me through partner support at www.colorado.gov. And what I ask that you do is that you provide me the different broad categories that you're wanting to organize. And even if it is just a piece of paper and notes, just scan that and send it to me so that I could then have an idea of what your vision is. And then I can match the features of the platform with what you're wanting to accomplish. I know that is not an answer, but I am totally game for it. It's a challenge. And I'm super excited. I'm waiting to see that email come through so we could definitely explore things. Is that a satisfactory answer? Maybe not. But yes, we do have, sorry?
We got to thank you in the chat, so I'm going to go with yes.
Awesome. I'm going to be looking forward to your email. Okay, I'm really excited to see how we can organize this content. Do we have any additional questions, Brian, that we could tackle?
I think this will probably lead it out, but when will this recording be available to reference back to?
Oh, absolutely. I just have to wait for Microsoft Teams to render, and then I have to make sure that I upload it to YouTube. You usually have them by the end of the day. Those are here in the Drupal training and support. So you could just go to this link and you could find the previous videos here. But if I space out and goof off, just call me out through partner support. Say, hey, where's the video? Are there any comments, feedback? Anything else?
There are a couple items that I'll provide to you after this meeting, Cecilia, but otherwise I don't think there's anything we need to cover within the duration of this meeting.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Brian. As always, Brian Cox is our project manager also, and he is amazing. Thank you so much for moderating that, monitoring that chat. Thank you so much, Alfredo, for your feedback regarding the layouts. And thank you to all of the Tyler Technology staff members that are here. Dave, if you're still on the line, if you wanted to take it away.
I don't have any additional comments. Thanks for a great session again, everybody, and really appreciate your patience and collaboration. As always, I feel like we're being repetitive in these training sessions to some degree. So as always, if there's topics or deep dives that you want to do, please reach out and help us improve these sessions, make sure they're exactly what you're needing. And if there are people in your teams who need to participate just to get more exposure, please extend the invitation to them. We really appreciate your time and your contribution. We have some deploys coming up, and we continue to focus separately on accessibility, as many of you know. So appreciate your continued communication, questions, and answers as we work together to improve the platform.
All right. We don't have anything else for the group. I really appreciate you being here. Know that I'm a resource to you. Reach out. As you know, through feedback, I grow. That is my personal motto. So if there are things that I could stop doing, things that you would like for us to do, let us know so that we can make these sessions meaningful. Again, thank you everybody for being here. The recording will be made available and it will be posted onto cms.colorado.gov. Again, have a wonderful rest of your week and stay safe out in that storm, okay?
Thank you.
Have a good day.